Hello and welcome to Frost Over the World. It's our last programme of 2011, and later in the programme I'll be joined by a top team of movers and shakers and politicians and analysts to pick over the bones of the year. Plus I'll be joined by one of this year's Nobel Peace Prize winners, the youngest ever such winner. But we begin with a sport which was itself buffeted by the politics of 2011 when the Bahrain Grand Prix was cancelled, reinstated and cancelled again due to the political unrest. With a triumphant end to the season in Brazil and 20 races now scheduled for 2012, Bahrain included again, what next for the Formula One empire? Will we see the slimming down of races in Europe on the back of the financial crisis? And what about the man who's been in charge of Formula One forever, 30 years and more? Will he continue to work on the Formula One's expansion? Almost as popular as the sport itself, I'm joined now by the one and only Formula One boss. Boss is a good word, isn't it? And Bernie's here now. Bernie Ecclestone, welcome, Bernie.
Thank you.
And we were just talking there about, at this moment, things being planned for next season and so on. And it's going to be 20 races again?
Yep, absolutely.
Is there a temptation maybe to go to 25 because it's so popular?
We could. We have enough countries waiting.
Yeah.
But I think we have to stop now because it's difficult for people that work in Formula One, all the travelling, that they never see their family. That's the big problem.
Right, so it could be, what are the ones that are closest to getting into the magic 20 then in that case? Which ones? Turkey may come back, or?
It's a funny thing, I was talking to somebody this morning about Turkey. It's a pity we've lost that, because I've got, I think Turkey's one of those countries that's going to really move on in the world, and that's why I went there in the first place. I've got a lot of admiration for the person that's running Turkey now, and what he's been doing generally. So we'll see about Turkey, but we're going to be in Russia in 2014,
right.
South Africa, probably in 2013 even.
Oh really?
So
maybe 2030?
Yeah, America, we're going to be in New York, your old hometown.
That's right. That's my commuting hometown. But that's an interesting point. With all places in the world where it's going so great, why has the United States been so slow to get the F1 bug?
Well, we've been there for years ago, and it's a little bit like the rest of America. They want to see a profit before they start something, and it's not easy to do that.
But do you think in 10 years' time, Formula One will be big in America?
No.
No?
No, because, we've got maximum 2 races in America. And when you consider the countries as big as Europe, and we've got sort of 10 races in Europe, so it's difficult. If we had a lot more races there and a lot more television, it would be okay.
Yeah. And Bahrain, the situation in Bahrain depends on the politics next year.
We're happy to go there. If we're invited, we'll be there.
You'd be happy to go there?
Yes, more than happy. We're delighted. I mean, everybody there, we know everybody. All the people we are in touch with, we think are in good shape. Obvious. But I met a lot of the people that were marshals at the race in India. They went over to India to help the people. And I spoke to each one of those people. And I couldn't find out exactly what appears to be the major problem. There obviously is a problem. And I'm quite sure that eventually they'll get to the bottom of it and sort it out.
And in the situation of looking around the world and do you have, over all the years you've been in F1, has there been one driver who was greater than any other?
Well, it's so difficult to say because they had different times, different cars, everything different. I mean, the one that everybody sort of glosses over and never talks about is Alan Prost. Yeah. That could have won a couple more races and lost by 1 point in one place and half a point in another. But otherwise, I mean, this young guy, Sebastian Vettel, at the moment, the German guy, is quite superb. Yeah. So we keep breeding them.
Yes, and you have to keep the fascination with the sport, don't you?
Sure.
You need new people. And this was an example of how you just got things so right, which I took out of a book. This particular quote was, under the deal that the teams got 25% of F1's profits, with Bernie Ecclestone getting 75%. the FIA, which regulates the sport, got a paltry $6 million annual fee. In short, Ecclestone made an annual return on investment of over 10,000%. Now, how did you pull off deals like that through your time, getting terrific terms for yourself and not quite such good terms for the other side, who still went along with it? But what was your genius as a deal maker? What is your genius as a deal maker? How can you do it?
The word genius I don't like.
All right.
I've been lucky.
I can't say it.
I've been very lucky.
Right.
And no, I think the product we've got and the way that we try and present it is good for people. You know, rarely, I can't even think when people walk away from us and say, we don't want to deal with you anymore. I can travel the world on a handshake. And whenever we deal with anyone, we explain to them what their percentage of making money or losing money is, so they know exactly where they are at the beginning.
I remember in early days of your career when drivers were tragically killed and so on, you took a breather. You weren't sure you wanted to go on with it and so on. So did that lead to you trying to get new safety measures and so on?
Yes, I mean we have. That's something that Max Mosley did. He started there very much from the FIA's point of view, making sure the cars were safe. I mean, if today somebody said you've got to have an accident in a vehicle at whatever speed, I'd say a Formula One car, you pick whatever speed you like. You see these guys sort of have a big accident, undo their safety belts and get out, which is wonderful.
That's been a real breakthrough, hasn't
absolutely.
it? Absolutely.
Well, we keep changing the format. You know, we used to have refueling, now we've stopped. And what's been a big thing this year is the Pirelli tyres. They've made a tyre that won't last the whole race, which is difficult to make, easier to make one that will. So you get more pit stops and more action, and difficult then to know the winner.
What are the ambitions? What would you like to achieve in your life, perhaps, as well as in F1?
What would I like to achieve? I'd like to achieve that I live a bit longer.
Yeah. Will you ever be able to spend all the money you made?
Probably,
Really?
if I put my mind to it. I don't want to.
No. But
money, I think generally money isn't the sort of thing that motivates reasonably lucky or successful business people. It's just a means of keeping score.
Does it give you real joy, though, to look at your bank balance and see you've got $5 billion or whatever?
Honestly, if you asked me today how much money I could get for the I couldn't tell you.
You've lost count?
No, it's not a case of losing count. I'm not interested. As long as I've got enough to do what I want to do, which is not a lot of things. I mean, I've got a luxury of having an aeroplane which I use for business, because I can travel to 2 or 3 countries in a day, which I couldn't do normally, and things like that. But otherwise,
and you may have another wedding to finance or something like that.
Actually, the last one wasn't financed by me; it was financed by my ex-wife.
Yeah. Do you miss her?
Yeah, I mean, if you live with somebody for 25 years, you miss them, obviously.
But you found another...
Yeah, I'm very happy with the young lady I'm with at the moment.
So the prospects look pretty good. There's just this problem of age, but it's only a problem if you let it be a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, I want to get up in the morning and have problems to solve, which is what I do.
Yeah. And as we've said, retirement can be a big mistake.
Absolutely.
And people drop off the perch when
I feel sorry for... I think this whole business now of people having to stop at a certain age is wrong. And people should be allowed to keep going as long as they can deliver.
Absolutely. And you're going to do that.
And you.
And me. All right, it's a deal.
Okay.
We've done a deal. Not a very profitable deal, but we've done a deal.
Exactly right.
Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bernie Ecclestone there. By any measure, 2011 has been a remarkable year. Who could have predicted the hunger for democracy that has transformed the political landscape of the Middle East? One person who's done more than most to sculpt those changes is Yemeni journalist and human rights activist Tawakkal Karman. Last week, she became the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of her relentless campaigning against President Ali Abdullah Saleh's administration. and she's with us now, I'm delighted to say. Hello and welcome.
Thank you, David. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. Was it a surprise when you heard the news about the Nobel Peace Prize? Was that a surprise, or?
It was a big surprise. It was, we didn't know that I am even nominated, you know. Yeah. It came to me when I was in my tent in Change Square, and working with my laptop, and just my friends called me, Tawakkal, congratulations that you won Nobel Peace Prize. And really it was, you know, suddenly I found tens of media tools, the people, my colleagues, they came to me. It was really surprise, and we were so happy because it's kind of recognition of victory of peaceful revolution.
Women have been important in Yemen in fighting to get rid of the president, haven't they? I mean, there's other women with you in this movement, yes?
Yes, it's thousands of women. Yeah. They are in the revolution struggling for their freedom and for dignity of their countries. Before the revolution, we were just 3 women alone. We were with some of the people, depending on human rights, going in the streets saying, wake up people, wake up. We were alone, and most of the people, they were laugh at us, you know, what she's doing, what people doing. They never get bored. But after the revolution, when we decided to raise the slogan to the people wants to step down the regime, and we keep struggling on that, you found thousands of women. They are in the street, and they are leading the demonstrations there. Not just, you know, walking. They lead all the details of revolution. Yeah.
That's right. And in fact, in addition to previously, you were trying to get certain reforms, but then you decided you had to go full out and somehow get rid of the President Saleh.
Yes, yes. Since 2005, we were, raising demands of reforms, political reforms, laws reforms for that, you know, that guarantee press freedom, expression rights, women rights. Also, we were, in the street many times for demanding release the people who are in the prison. Many issues. But the first issue that we're struggling for it was the expression rights. But after that, we decided to make, to organize demonstrations weekly, every Tuesday in front of cabinet, until we heard, the revolution, the voice of Jasmine revolution, Tunisian Jasmine revolution. They gave a good solution that people want to step down the regime, because Yemeni people, in all our past years, Ali Saleh didn't respond to all their demands. The situation in Yemen became worse and worse and worse. This is the solution. Then we decided to raise this this slogan.
And I gather that you had a phone call at one point with someone who was threatening you with death if you carried on your agitating in your attempt to replace the president, and that it was said later that the person who made that telephone call to you to threaten you was indeed the president himself, was it?
Just one phone call. It was tens phone calls, and when we decided to say no and to raise our voice and to struggle for that and to pay also our life for that, the threat became more and more. It came to me, it came to my husband, came to my brothers, to the organization also, Women Journalists Without Chains, but we never heard to it. We never listened to it. We decided that we have to keep on. We must not give up, and we have a message, we have issue, and we have to to save our country. Because of that, it isn't just Tawakkul. I think all the people who were with me, they have the same threat, not just the same threat. The people, they've been killed in the street. They've been injured in the street. More than 28,000 people, they are injured and killed in the street. So not just threaten, we have to sacrifice. We have for all our demands. That is our choice. And we couldn't succeed if we feel that we are scared or afraid.
Right, and in fact, some people say that one day when President Saleh has left power next year, that instead that you could become, as the figurehead and centre figure of that you could be the next president of Yemen. Would you like that?
Look, if I want that, do I want that? I prefer to be with youth, to be with people who observe the governments, who observe the authority, who push for accountability for all of that. But what happened now? I think that I have to think about that more and more, because we don't want our revolution to be hijacked by anyone. So we have to give the alternative, and we have also to tell the international community that they are wrong when they make the Gulf Initiative, because it's against democracy, it's against human rights, it's against all the value that we struggled for.
You deliberately decided, as part of the movement, you decided that you would remove the veil. You thought that was important, to remove the veil. Why was that?
I believe that any woman wants to participate in public life, she must be strong, and her face must be recognized. So when I decided that, yes, I work with veil. By the way, I know many people in Yemen. They knew me with veil. I was activist, but it's very important when I speak with you. You have to contact with me. You have to see my face. We have to discuss. We have to know each other. Because of that, I decided to take it off. And also, I encourage women to do that. If she want to participate in a strong way in the public life, but it's her choice. We must not force her to take it off or to put it in. Yeah.
That makes great sense. Well, we are at the end of this year, but we wish you a very successful and happy New Year in Yemen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and it will be.
It was Kermit the Frog who famously declared, "It's not easy being green." Well, the Brazilian government is finding it pretty difficult too. Their attempt to meet the country's rapidly growing energy needs with the construction of the Belmonte Dam has been met with outrage by environmentalists who point to the destruction of rainforest and indigenous communities as an inevitable consequence of building the dam. The explorer and environmentalist David de Rothschild has pledged his support to the local affected communities. Alongside local tribal leaders, he erected a totem pole in the heart of the Amazon to represent all that will be lost if and when the dam is built. I spoke to David earlier about his trip and how he thinks that the green movement needs to adapt to save the planet. There are lots of problems all over the world and lots of challenges all over the world. Why did this one particularly attract your attention?
It's a fascinating story. I mean, it interested me purely as an environmentalist. We're always trying to promote new forms of energy. And when you hear about new forms of energy, it's usually wind, solar, and then hydroelectric, and it's sort of passed over without anybody really questioning, well, what is the true impact? And in this case, we were looking at a hydroelectric dam that's sited to be built on the Xingu River, which is one of the main tributaries in the Amazon. It's 100 kilometers of river that run into the Amazon in the Amazon basin. And it's a very contentious dam. It's been, was first sited to be put in the Xingu River back 37 years ago under military dictatorship. And since then, it's kind of been pushed back and forth. And recently, it's been sort of earmarked to go ahead. And this will really set a precedent for the way that dams are developed throughout the Amazon. Hydroelectricity is really one of the big cards that the government's playing to make Brazil energy independent. And supposedly green energy independent. So we wanted to go there with a bunch of artists, tell a slightly different story, to look at what will be lost through creativity. But it's a very interesting story, as I said, because it will set the precedent for a potential, 40 or 60 future dams. So
and so what really is the worst thing about it? And what's the best thing about it?
The worst thing really is that here we have one of the most fragile ecosystems on our planet, the Amazon, the lungs of our planet. And what we will be doing will be placing a massive bit of concrete. I mean, the amount of earth being moved will be more than the Panama Canal. They have to dig these two huge channels. They will flood an area of the rainforest. About 670 square kilometers of rainforest will be flooded. So you can imagine the devastation to the biodiversity and the wildlife. But really the secondary impacts, the social impacts on the indigenous communities along that part of the river that use the river for sustenance, for protein, for fish, for transport, all of that will be lost as 80% of the Xingu River, as 80% of its flow will disappear in the process of this hydroelectric dam. So for me personally, on a very personal level, the upside is very, very minimal. It's a very negative, very destructive project that is really being pushed forward, unfortunately, by sort of business as usual, bit of ego. Somebody a long time ago said, we will make this, and now they're trying to follow through. I think, the positive, if you want to put a positive on anything, is that there is a government that's starting to think about, energy independence from alternative sources, wind, solar energy.
But your target really, realistically speaking, is to alert the world to this, but you're not expecting to stop this one, are you?
Sadly, I mean, I think it's picking up a lot of publicity in Brazil right now with a lot of politicians and are starting to recognize that the public are concerned about this. For me, this is about trying not to do what all environmentalists do. We've become undertakers for the planet. We always want to report on the bad news stories. It's not a good situation, but what we're trying to do is inspire change through creativity. Rather than always going in and telling people what they can't do, we want to inspire them of what they can do. And so this was about art and creativity coming together to inspire the community to find their voice.
Well, that's a rousing rallying cry there, David. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Bless you.
Thank you, David.
In a moment, I'll be joined by a distinguished group of movers and shakers to look back at 2011 with a glimpse at 2012 as well. That's after this very short break.